a new day, it's a new video. Today we're working on a 2016 Ram truck, 5.7 liter Hemi. Customer complaint is that it has an oil leak. So he says it's not leaking very bad, but it is leaving spots on the floor in the garage. So I have actually looked at this truck probably a month ago, ordered parts for it. But now that we got it up on the hoist here, I'll show you guys what's going on. So like I said, first thing we're going to do is check for oil leaks here. You know, tranny cooler lines look good. Front of the engine looks good. Axle seals, that all looks good. We get back here and we can start to see oil on the bell housing of this transmission. So we'll get up here, kind of show you where that oil leak is kind of coming from here. So you probably can't see it too well. Valve covers up there are pretty dry. It's actually coming up, coming from further up on the engine there and running down the back side. You can see it pretty wet right there, and then it's been dripping down on the bottom side here. Let's let it down. We're gonna check it from the top side and I'll show you guys what's going on. Looking at the top side of the engine here, trying to find an oil leak. So over here, we got the air intake tube removed, by the way, and the engine cover. But you can see a little, you know, oil soaking into that mat there. That's probably from just overfilling. The rest of the side is dry over there. The passenger side over here, it is very wet, and especially in this region right over here, kind of hard to see. Let me get you in there. You should be able to see where that oil is running down the back side of the cylinder head on top of the transmission bell housing. So what is happening here is we have a PCV chamber in this intake, and right down in here there is a seam where they weld these together, plastic weld them together, and that's exactly where it's leaking. In this, somewhere in the seam here, it gets oil in it and starts to weep out. So the fix to that is to replace this intake manifold. Now that intake manifold took me 4 weeks to get one. I believe when I ordered it, they told me there was no delivery date on it. Just get your name on a list. As per usual, that kind of seems like the way it goes these days. I don't know if there's a supply chain shortage or what's happening there, but they said they had like 600 on order, over 600 on order nationwide. They had like 300 plus that were being distributed at that time and didn't know how to fulfill the rest of the orders, basically. So yeah, 4 weeks later, we finally got an intake manifold. So we're gonna pull this intake manifold off, kind of show you a little closer view of it, and we'll fix this oil leak for them. Pretty simple. The intake manifolds come off pretty easy on these. So that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna set up a time lapse because the heaters are running like crazy today and it's hard to film because it's like -9 out there. So instead of hearing the fans blowing, I'm just gonna put you on a time lapse and we'll pull this intake off. I'll bring you in for a closer look here. So another thing to check actually for oil leaks is these solenoids for your cylinder displacement there. These look good. There was a little oil back in this area back here, but I'm assuming that's just from where the intake was leaking there. This side was really wet when I pulled the intake off. Keep in mind, when you pull this line off your fuel rail, that's gonna run right down inside that intake runner. So make sure you clean that out. Another thing I kind of struggled with was, of course, these connectors for the fuel injectors. You gotta pull these red tabs up. They're always kind of a son of a bitch. But we have a few connectors on the back here you have to get at. This one, you have to pull off the intake manifold. It just goes into this here, but it actually goes into the back of the intake. This is for your intake runner control. That can sometimes be kind of a pain in the butt. This just kind of goes on the back of a stud. And then there is another one of those push pins that kind of connect over here to the intake manifold. So once you get that stuff loose, you can pull the intake manifold off, and this is kind of what you're left with. Let's bring you over to the bench and we'll check out this manifold. Okay, so we're looking at the driver's side here. Again, not much to go wrong here. You're seeing a lot of fuel spillage there when I pulled this fuel line off. Let's go over to this other side. We'll see, take a look at this a little bit better here. So hopefully you can kind of see where this leaks up in here. It's kind of more up in this region up in here, where it's plastic welded together in this top section. It's all full of oil up here, down around the bottom here. And that's where we kind of saw most of the oil leak coming down the backside of the engine and on top of the transmission there. But yeah, these are your connections on the back of the intake here. This is your intake runner control here. That's can sometimes be kind of a pain in the butt to get off. So right now we're going to switch everything over. And get this new manifold put in. Kind of a big box for an intake manifold. This is a heavy box. Get a closer look at the part number there. Again, this is a 2016 with a 5.7. Let's get a look at what's in the box here. Look at that. They even sent a new diaper for the MDS solenoids. It's almost like they knew it was gonna leak or something. I'm already not liking the hole in the side of the box there. That's kind of concerning. Just a big piece of plastic. Comes pretty much bare with nothing on it. We do have to switch over the runner control. The kit does not come with the seal for that, so you will have to order that separate if you want to replace that. But yeah, got new bolts in the kit. Our intake seals. These are the crankcase ventilation seals. If you flip this over, you can see the seal right there. We'll go there, and over on this side, that's for your crankcase ventilation. And then you have a throttle body gasket in this kit. So yeah, we're gonna switch over a few things here, and then we'll get to putting this back on. Okay, so since they sent us a new diaper, let's pull this one out. Put that guy in there. Ready to absorb all the spills right there. Alright, I'm going to slide our intake back in there and get some bolts put in and torque her down. It's kind of a little tight in the back here. You kind of got to give her the old reach around. An intake runner is kind of a pain in the butt. I've got a connector that doesn't want to go on. We'll spray some silicone on the seal. That should slide right in. It's a trick I like to use anyway. Those WeatherPack seals kind of get dry and you can't put the get the connector on all the way. Appears to be sitting on all the seals. Make sure we don't have any connectors that are sitting underneath it. That would be bad. I think we're good there. It's got the wiggly jigglies because it is sitting on the seals there, but let's get some bolts put in it. We're just going to snug those down for now. All right, let's break out the torque wrench and get these torqued down. 9 foot-pounds on these ones. There's a torque sequence on this. Just kind of alternating back and forth, side to side. Okay, so we got her all put back together here. Did an oil change on it. Customer wanted an oil change done to it. And then we kind of degreased the engine, cleaned up all the oil, everything, washed it down. It's been running for a little bit, just kind of drying things out. And then we'll take it for a little test drive, make sure everything's good to go there. But that's going to do it for this video. If you like these videos, please like and subscribe, and we'll see you on the next one.